Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 6 Japanese carrier, Ryujo, and that's not why we're watching this, though. We're watching this because of the 0.5.1 patch and issues that were introduced either accidentally or on purpose, and I want to address them. I would hope that you would provide feedback, commentary on what you want to see changed, and I love discussing game systems. I'm all about that. So, right off the bat, AP for battleships. This is a huge issue. I am definitely on board with it existing after playing a lot of battleship games. I basically play one US, one Japanese, and my German every single day for the daily double. I really only have time to do that. And I've played, what, 10 days? Maybe it's a week. It's a blur, okay? I'm making videos all the time. I've played probably 30 matches in the Battleship, and I can definitively say there's something wrong. The AP is just not penetrating. There was a great example in my Nuremberg video on Two Brothers in 0.5.1 where I was broadside stuck on the island. I take a massive shot from a Congo and it does like 2,000 points of damage. I barely notice that I take that, and it should not be that way. You should punish anyone that's run aground, showing their side, whatever. That's what AP and battleships are designed to do, and that is currently not what is working. So I've gathered through Wargaming Russian forums. They're very active there. I really appreciate that they communicate. I just wish I could understand it without having to translate it. But in general, they have addressed a bug that existed prior to 0.5.1 that would cause AP to ricochet, and I was led to believe it was sort of like War Thunder. In War Thunder, you might get a round that will ricochet all over the tank and kill him eventually. You know, completely unbelievable. We're talking about hundreds of ricochets before it eventually kills you, and it sounds like something like this existed. The shell would enter the ship, and instead of being dead or not being effective, it was overly effective, considering the circumstances of how it entered. Now, they addressed that bug, but when they did that, they basically nerfed AP across the board. Now, my battleship can easily penetrate a cruiser, because it could already easily penetrate a cruiser. The guns way outgun the armor available to cruisers, so yeah, it doesn't matter, I'm still getting Citadel penetrations. But the battleship is extremely frustrating, even when a battleship makes a huge mistake showing their side against a battleship of equal tier or even higher. You're not getting a Citadel penetration. You're not even getting damage at all in a lot of instances where you knew it was going to do damage. I record every single game I've ever played, and it definitely is actively hindering the effectiveness of the battleship. What can you do to counter this right now? Well, you could try focusing on cruisers first. You could try HE against the battleship, but the best thing that could happen is Wargaming to fix the issue, and on the Russian server, on the forums, they have precisely discussed, they know this exists, they've done tests, they definitively know, and they're actively working towards getting it fixed by the end of this week. Now, they have said, we will not revert back to 0.5.0 and the way the armor worked, because that bug was just too devastating, and that is concerning for me, in particular because that makes me believe that there were kills on targets where it shouldn't have happened. And anytime you have an advantage over a target because of a bug, that feels really crappy. League of Legends, anyone? Competitive gaming? Nobody likes winning. Well, some people don't care how they win, but I care that I am winning or losing based on the skill that I have in that particular ship, or maybe the tactic that I've chosen. I certainly would hate to know that I got kills because of a bug. And it sounds like I got kills because of a bug. Everyone got kills because of this bug. So that I feel terrible. That's not me, okay? I control all of this. I like to feel like I have some sort of control in this world. Games are a great outlet for me to also find some aggression, let out some of that aggression, and also entertain you. I entertain myself with my aggressive play. I do that in every game I play. I am just happy that you all enjoy it so much that I can continue to make these videos for you. And hopefully the AP will be addressed this week. The patch was so fantastic. I mean, the lag is nearly gone. I have not run into those hitchiness that you might see in some of my videos. All of that's gone. The sound is great. They've addressed some of the really loud fighter is ready comments. I like that they warn you when the battle is near completion. The new maps, the map changes, I'm pretty satisfied with every map change except maybe Islands of Ice. I definitely feel like it feels a little bit empty compared to the old version. We'll see if that changes, but that's my impression. Another issue that has been discussed by viewers like you is that people are bouncing on the border with fast cruisers or destroyers and completely negating the negative aspect of the debuff. And that seems terrible. You can see in this game, 2 ships, at least, have been actively using the border to their advantage. I think this is bull. I think a solution should be that, yes, it doesn't immediately destroy your ability to maneuver because people accidentally bump into the border all the time, right? You don't want to die because you accidentally bump into something. No matter how many of you want me to die every time I run aground, I don't think that would be a good solution. It already is a huge impact to your survivability when you are stationary. For the border, however, it is cheap as hell. It's not in the spirit of playing a game to use the edge of the map to your advantage, to give yourself, twice, 3 times as much health, and to not want to play in the same rule set as everyone else. It's terrible. So what I would like to see is some sort of system that keeps track of how often you are on the border, how infrequent or frequent you are accessing the border. Maybe you have a passive debuff that obviously is activated when you're on the border, right? And it's slowly dropping down. When you disengage, it slowly creeps back up, just like it does now. But wherever you were in the engine depower, so maybe you were on the border long enough to drop your engine by 50%, but then you disengaged for, half a second, and you're able to sort of get by actively using the border to slow you, but to also use the border to maneuver more effectively than you would otherwise be able to. That debuff should carry through for, 10, 15, 20 seconds, and it should drop you right back down, almost like a module's knocked out. That abrupt, if you're actively using the border, it shouldn't decay as fast as it does, I think. When you disengage, it basically decays back up to full. It's like you weren't on the border at all. It should understand how often you're using the border to your advantage in some manner. That's what I would like to see. If you are very nearly spending 80, 90, 100% of your time on the border, it should know that. And it should do something to prevent that by making it dangerous for you to do that. And that's the way I feel about the border. I don't want the border to actively do damage to you. Players might feel like actively doing damage and slowing you is too much. They take away the slow, and then the active damage that is being done to the ship is less than if you were taking the full damage from the enemy that you should be doing, because you're trying to manipulate the game system to dodge that damage. So that's the way I feel about that. One final big issue for me is the zone game type. I played the Fletcher game, you saw it. It was a fantastic game, and I loved it. But Zone itself feels half-baked. And what I mean by that is, you'll play Zone, and most of my games are draws. We're back to this draw. What the hell, Wargaming? You had months of knowing that there's too many draws, there's too many draws. We have to put in systems to prevent draws. Oh, let's introduce a zone, a king of the hill, where both teams can't capture unless there's nobody on the capture. And an enemy can actively reduce the capture in 1/10 of the time it took to get it in the first place. So being in a capture is almost meaningless in itself. You just have to have some sort of system where you're bouncing in between, and that doesn't feel good. It feels like I just have to kill the enemy to win that. I do like that it encourages players to be close, but I don't like that it's encouraging me to play out an entire 20 minutes and either end in a draw, and draws at 20 minutes feel awful. It's a loss for everyone, right? There's no win there. So what they should do is put in some protection for draws in the zone game type. Some sort of tick, maybe whenever the enemy ships are less than yours and the game ends, it goes to the team with the most ships. You know, just something. It's obvious that one team should have won compared to the other most of the time. Why not give that win to them? At least giving a win is better than 2 draws, because it's a loss for both sides. A draw is not a benefit. I do like the maps, though. Trap's very cool. Land of Fire is very cool. Or should I say, Land of Fire is very hot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, no one has to laugh. Okay. But Northern Lights is cool, too. I love the feel of the map. North is, of course, a great map. Really don't need to change it. It's just nice to get another. I would love another feel, another makeover. Maybe a stormy ocean. Maybe something that changes the feel of the map. You know, the water has so much character. I'd like to kind of get that in this game in some manner. Two Brothers. I've played plenty of games on Two Brothers. I'm cool with it. With the islands being the small islands, being so far away from the large islands, there's really it's like a donut. You have the large islands in a ring around the map, the extreme distance, and then you have a really large center island that is basically impenetrable. And most people are trying to dance around it, but they have to be a little bit closer. Everyone has to be a little bit tighter. And it's a little bit more open for torpedoes, cruisers, battleships. It feels like it's more active in the participation of defending the domination map mode. Maybe the center is a little bit more open. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more open, if possible. I am seeing players try and use it. Now, it's not effective. Of course it's not. Because they're being scouted out. They're being defended. But at least they're trying it. Before, I've kind of felt like the islands in the capture points helped the players play more stagnant, hide. I don't like hiding. I don't like long-range engagements. I want it fast and furious. I want these games to be really impactful, really exciting. And I think Two Brothers is going the right direction. For the other maps that they've changed, Islands of Ice, I kind of feel like they took a lot of character away from it. It's so wide open. It feels just like other maps that are so wide open. It's kind of like a combination of Ocean and Two Brothers. It's got such a huge area of the map that's completely wide open. Battleships love it. Long-range torpedoes love it. And cruisers should hate it, because those dirty battleships are just staying in the back and firing.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
In my Amagi game, I really enjoyed that. And I think the problem with Islands of Ice is players are playing the old version, at least, incorrectly. And maybe it was inefficient. I can understand taking some islands away, but In general, I would kind of like it there to be, maybe there's glaciers that have broken off. They are in the water, you have to actively avoid them, and they don't care. They're not going to clear out a path, right? That's really where I would kind of like it to be, but we'll see how it develops. The meta is really what's important, how people play the map. It either makes a map feel fun or feel terrible. For hotspot, I don't know, it feels like you spawn really close to the enemy. Like you're very nearly right in range to engage it. I don't like anything that requires the game to instantly start up, right? You can't take a view of what's going on, so I'm kind of worried the spawns might be a little bit too close, but I do like the map layout. A is really for battleships, heavy cruisers, C for destroyers. No one's really doing B right now, so we'll have to see. I hope you enjoyed this game. 5 kills of carriers, nice. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Please comment. I love talking about games. Now, speaking of games, Fallout 4 and StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void just came out. I'm going to be playing those, but daily videos will be here. They just might be some back catalog of great games, don't worry. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.